Welcome to your observer training. This short training will prepare you for the most critical aspect of being an observer. As an observer, you will observe and record behaviors of individuals going through realistic simulations. You will then translate those observations into a rating. These ratings will be used to identify an individual's profile of strengths and development areas. Behaviors you will be looking for are defined by your organization's competency model. Following your observations, you will assess an individual's proficiency level based on their performance on these competencies. Observers use a structured form on which each competency will be broken down into behavioral examples that further define the scope of the competency. For example, communication. Speaks clearly and is easy to understand. Concisely conveys key messages. Speaks with passion and conviction. And effectively and logically organizes presentation content. The listed behaviors serve as an example of, quote, what good looks like in the given simulation. Now, let us take a look at how the competency communication can be observed in a presentation simulation. You will quickly realize that making good observations requires some multitasking.
Good morning. My name is Beth Smith. I've been asked by the panel to suggest a new product line for us to do. This product line is a hair care shampoo called Essentials. I don't want to go over the timeline just yet. I'm going to come back to that. First, I want to talk about the advantages and risks. We can create a brand new facility that will be 100% focused on this product. There's a recent uptick in demand for hair care products for women, so this would follow that demand. And it's an opportunity to diversify our current portfolio. The disadvantage to this is there is a high labor cost in the area, and the whole strategy would depend on the marketing efforts. I'll come back to investments. First, I want to talk about the timeline. For the first 3 months, we'll be building the facility. In the next 3 months, we will be hiring and training the staff to work at that facility, and within 9 months, we will have sales.
You will always observe multiple competencies per simulation. For the next example, we have added the competency results focus and some behaviors that define it. Results focus defines clear roles and responsibilities, establishes milestones to check progress, makes clear agreements and notes them down, and holds conversational partner accountable to deliver on their goals. Let's observe communication and results focus in a one-on-one conversation. Situation overview. This participant is meeting with an employee who recently performed poorly while setting up services at a customer site. They must meet with them, provide feedback, and ensure they resolve the problem with the customer.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. I mean, a little bit busy, but who isn't?
Yeah, it sounds like we've had a lot going on, and I'm sorry we haven't been able to catch up more like we used
it's
to.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, things are going pretty well. Little hiccup with a customer recently, which I'm sure you heard about, but for the most part, things are really good.
I did hear about that. So what happened?
Oh, it's just, I was running just a little bit late from a previous customer install, and now I'm coming on site to do a new install with this customer who is particularly difficult to work with, and things didn't work out perfectly, but in the end, it's not much to worry about.
Okay, so things didn't quite work out, or tell me
a
little bit more.
we weren't able to get the install done, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. This customer always comes around, and I think the person on site that day just was having a bad day, so things don't work out. So they weren't so happy that I wasn't on time, but in the end, I'm not that worried about it.
Okay, so how would you say the relationship is now?
Well, it's fine. Like I said, they always rebound, so just give it some time. Things cool down, and then we'll be back in there at some point, and we'll get it done. So
okay.
Yeah.
So what else is going on?
Yeah, I don't know, really just trying to focus on all the other priorities I got. There's a lot of projects going on, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm checking all the boxes there as well, and I'll find time to circle back to the other customer.
Okay. I guess circling back to that issue, did I hear you right? Is the install done or is it not done?
Yeah, no, actually the install isn't done yet, but I really wouldn't be worried about it. I don't know if you want me to follow up with you about it, but I'm really confident that we're going to be able to get it done at some point. So,
I know a lot of people at that client. I actually used to work with them myself.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I shouldn't just give them a call and see what happened from their perspective, see what needs to be done, and just get it taken care of.
Wow, that's actually really helpful. That'd be really supportive. I do have a lot going on, like you said, so it would be really helpful if you could even make sure the install gets complete. That'd be really great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. I'll give them a call. Is there anything else that you need?
No, I think that's it. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I know we don't have a lot of time in our day, and so I appreciate that and the help and the support. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah.
Great. Well, you let me know if anything else comes up. And
Okay. I will
we'll keep in touch.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Jamie.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
After observing a simulation, you will rate an individual's proficiency on each competency. Competency proficiency is rated on a numerical scale which is calibrated to the expectations of competency proficiency for the target role. If your positive observations by far outbalance negative observations, you assign the highest rating. The more negative observations you made, the lower your rating will be. The highest rating represents a competency proficiency that exceeds the expected level for successful performance in the target role. Note, you will not be alone in rating an individual's performance. Every simulation has a minimum of at least 2 observers. Therefore, the participant's final score will reflect the average ratings from the entire observer group. As an individual observer, you will only give whole number ratings. Let's take a look at our first simulation where we observed communication during a presentation. Looking back at our notes, we notice we had a mix of observations. Referencing our scale, we can see our observations are slightly tipped towards a lower proficiency, indicating a rating of 2, showing the individual has room for development on the competency. Now, here are our notes from our observation of the one-on-one conversation. As we rate communication in the simulation, we see that the positives actually outweigh the negative. One could say what we observed met our expectations. As we rate the second competency, results focus, in the simulation, we see that the negatives actually outweigh the positives, as we either did not collect much evidence or only observed the opposite of the described desired behavior. Once you have made ratings for all of the competencies measured in the exercise, every observer scores will be captured and input into our proprietary software. Up to this point, you will have made your ratings without speaking to any other observers in the room. It is very important to make your initial ratings without speaking to the other observers, as doing so could unintentionally influence others' ratings. After reporting your individual ratings, the observer team will go through a calibration process. All observer scores must be within 1 point of each other. This process avoids mixed messages from being sent to participants, in the case that observer scores are polarized. For example, the implication of one observer giving a rating of 1 and another giving a rating of 4 is not logical. A behavior cannot be poor and outstanding at the very same time. If this occurs, a discussion between observers will take place until an agreement is reached. At this point, the behaviors demonstrated by the participant will be discussed. In light of new evidence of behaviors you may have missed, your scores can be updated in order that the group may reach a more aligned score. This process of observing the behavior of individuals, rating their competency proficiency, and calibrating your scores will repeat for every exercise in the center. We will leave you with some important tips around required behavior from an observer. Take up a reserved, friendly posture, but do not show any overt reactions. Observe and write down what you see and hear. Stick to actual observable behavior. Record thematic verbal quotes. Write down as many concrete observations and examples as possible. And do not speculate about what you cannot see, such as underlying motives, traits, etc. Thank you for your time, and we are looking forward to your participation at the upcoming center.